What's going on, fellas? I am absolutely exhausted. I've been trying to bust my ass to try to get ahead on spreadsheets because I have surgery later this week. Nothing injury related or anything like that. On top of closing on a house, which is quite stressful, and the weights are getting quite heavy. So I'm about as tired as I get. So please bear with me if I mumble at all. I'm doing my best, but we're gonna keep the streak alive, and I'm making a YouTube video today. So today, based on the title, there's a good chance that I may or may not have successfully clickbaited you. The title to this video is going to be something to the effect of, are you strong enough to wear a belt? But in reality, this is a common beginner / intermediate mistakes video in disguise that I'm tricking you into watching. Basically, this is an overarching mistake that I see, especially in beginner and intermediate lifters, which is this idea of I'm going to get to a certain level, then I'm going to give myself an advantage, right? As we talked about in a previous Q&A, something like beltless training, if you're adding 5 to 10 pounds to your working sets of 8, 5 to 10 pounds to your working sets of 5, 5 to 10 pounds to your working sets of 3, that's going to manifest in a cumulative effect, a positive benefit of better bracing, better engagement of the abs as a belt does, right? EMG data at least indicates that no, putting on a belt does not turn off our core. It does quite the opposite and allows us to engage it more so. So it might allow us to get a stronger core, it allows us to use heavier weights for the primary movers, right? So using more weight across the whole training cycle, you're going to hit a higher 1RM than if you threw on the belt at the last minute and built all this strength without the belt, but built no skill using it, and you didn't get to expose your primary movers to those additional weights. That being said, you don't need a belt to train heavy. It's not a necessity. I wouldn't say it necessarily, assuming good load selection, impacts our injury risk, but if our goal is to maximize our squat or our deadlift with a belt on, we should be getting it as soon as we're financially able to, or you make that choice. It shouldn't be a matter of, oh, I'm not strong enough to need this piece of equipment. I think it's a fundamental misunderstanding that people will make with a belt, with a knee sleeve, with signing up for a competition, with getting their diet locked in, with getting their sleep locked in. They're like, oh, I'm not good yet. I'm not going to do that until I'm good. And that's a fundamental misunderstanding of how getting good happens. Getting good, the result is what follows acting like it, right? So you're not going to become a good lifter and then start acting like a good lifter. You're going to act like a good lifter and then become a good lifter, right? So we want to give ourselves any advantage we can within our goals that fits our goals, right? So for prepping for a powerlifting meet, that advantage might not be bumper plate strapped deadlift bar pulls. That might not be the kind of advantage we're looking for, but anything within the competition rules that's going to give us a boost, we should give ourselves every advantage we should. I see this a lot with diet. Guys won't take their diet seriously because they can't take themselves seriously as a lifter because they're not strong. Well, again, you need to act like a professional if you want to become a professional. A professional lifter is not a real thing, but in the same thing in sports, right? You don't become a professional sportsman and then start acting like it. More often than not, unless you're extremely genetically blessed, it's the other way around. We need to start acting like what we want to become. If I want to one day become a professional strongman, I need to start acting like it now. I need to start competing, right? I need to start eating like it. I need to start training like it. I need to start using the equipment that would be applicable to a strongman of that level and giving myself every advantage to get better, right? Whether that be using chalk on every set. It doesn't matter if the bench, I don't think it's impressive. I don't give a shit if it's impressive. I'm giving myself every advantage I can to move that weight as well as I can with the best technique I can, as easily as I can with the most force. I'm going to chalk my hands for a one-plate bench if that's what my program's calling for. Kind of the same thing as if I'm going to be looking to maximize my deadlift in a belt, I'm wearing a belt for a one-plate deadlift, right? I'm giving myself every little advantage I can to maximize my result. You guys have, maybe if you're a fan of the channel, heard me talk about the accumulation of marginal gains, where if we can pick up a little 1% here, 1% there, doing these things over and over, day after day, these little 1% marginal increases has a synergistic snowballing effect to make a big difference in our result down the line. So looking to give ourselves any advantage we can. Now, this video isn't to say that if you can't afford these equipment, you're never going to be good. This could just be the habits of going to bed on time, which is free. It could be the habits of warming up well. It could be the habits of being very analytical about your technique and training hard, right? All of these things are free, but you shouldn't wait to do any of these things until you're better. Following the best diet you're able to in your circumstances. If you're a high school kid who doesn't have that much money, constantly thinking about what within your means can you do to optimize this, right? Can I work a part-time job on the weekends and then suddenly I can kind of eat right like I should? Chicken, vegetables, rice, high micronutrient density, fruits, vegetables, protein sources. If that's what it takes and you really want the result, again, you need to put yourself in a position to act like what you want to be. So this is my video. I hope you guys find this helpful. Hopefully no one bullies me too much for this take, and I really want to be clear that I'm not telling you need to buy a belt right away. I'm not telling you ever need to buy a belt, but if your goal is to maximize, if you foresee yourself or what you dream of is one day, walking out 1,000 pounds on a squat with a belt on, you might want to buy that belt if you're financially able. Maybe ask for it for Christmas if your family is so inclined and financially well off enough, right? And if you need to work a job to start checking off these boxes of acting like who you want to be, how they would act, right? If you look up to someone, you got to start acting like they act away from the weight room if you want any shot of ever performing like them in the weight room. So thank you guys for watching my video. Hopefully I didn't mumble too much. Hopefully this was coherent. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and whatnot. I appreciate you all. I am definitely going to bed early tonight. Thank you guys.